Here is your wrestling news for September 27th, 2020. And your headlines for today include: Roman Reigns says Braun Strowman didn't prove he could be on top of WWE. Roman Reigns sends video message to Jey Uso ahead of WWE Clash of Champions. When is Jimmy Uso returning? Ryback goes ballistic on WWE. Some truly harsh words by Ryback. T-Bar takes shot at Chris Jericho. Jericho responds. Retribution's Reckoning drops video from The Purge giving big warning to WWE. Liv Morgan reveals WWE's original intentions behind Bray Wyatt teases. Stone Cold Steve Austin called out after 18 years. How many titles will change hands at Clash of Champions, and more. We are kicking off today with Roman Reigns news, as the Universal Champion has had plenty to say this week. One person who's felt Roman's wrath is Braun Strowman, who replaced Roman in WrestleMania's Universal title match against Goldberg, resulting in Strowman holding the title for months until Reigns returned. Now fans can see the monster among men on Raw Underground, which has helped put Strowman over and give a big name to promote the segment. Speaking on After the Bell about Strowman's title reign during his hiatus, the Tribal Chief said, "I love him to death, Braun Strowman. He was on top for a little while, but in order to really prove yourself, you've got to do it over and over and over, and main event, main event, main event. I mean 20, 30 pay-per-views. You gotta show not just our locker room, but the whole world that you can do this. You can be trusted with that amount of time, that amount of investment year after year. That's something I think that I've done. We have guys who are around the top, but then nobody has shown it like I have. I'm just now starting to show a different layer. I was able to do it in the same mode and keep numbers. The old Roman Reigns is still money. I can still throw on the vest and go out there and still do it. I've proven that I can keep doing it in the same mode and do it. I can do it, man. I can do it sick, tired, off the plane, on the plane, it doesn't matter. I can do it in my sleep. That's how repetitiously and conditioned I am at this game now." Since losing the title at SummerSlam and the rematch at Payback, Strowman has disappeared from the Universal title hunt, and time will tell whether he gets another shot at the gold, possibly against Roman himself. Of course, Reigns is mere hours away from defending his Universal title against Jey Uso, and on the latest SmackDown, Reigns snapped and attacked his cousin on the ramp, adding to the expectations of what'll happen tonight when the two meet. Whilst Reigns seems to be fully embracing his darker side, he did post a video on Twitter recently saying he's got nothing but respect for his cousin, especially after watching the WWE Chronicle about him. That being said, Roman added that only one of them will be leaving the Thunderdome victorious tonight, and he finished off by saying that he loves his cousin, but though they're from the same bloodline, they're very different people. Ever since his return, Reigns has been more dominant than ever before, and this new, darker persona is a breath of fresh air after years of a smiling babyface. As for the challenger, it'll be an incredibly tough road for Jey to become Universal Champion tonight, and whilst he's considered the underdog, that doesn't seem to have fazed him. Speaking to TalkSport, Uso said that he plans to outperform Roman tonight, and said that Joe Anoa'i, the man behind Roman Reigns, knows how good he is. It looks like Jey Uso has a lot to prove tonight, and win, lose, or draw, this match against the Tribal Chief will be easily the biggest match of his career. From one Uso to another now, as Jimmy Uso was taken off TV due to knee surgery, and now we have an expected return date. According to Alex McCarthy, who spoke to Jimmy's brother Jay, the missing Uso is expected to be back in action in January or February 2021, which means he could be in the Men's Royal Rumble match. At the very least, this time frame means he'll be on the road to WrestleMania 37, but with Jay's title match against Roman Reigns tonight, we'll have to see what the company does with the Usos before Jimmy's return. Retribution news next, as a lot of questions have been raised following this week's Raw promo, and though T-Bar has tried to explain why WWE hired the Anarchists, that's only confused more people. On Twitter, T-Bar argued that WWE gave them deals because it was cheaper than hiring new security guards each week, though they said they still plan to destroy their employer, WWE. When Jericho replied with a "huh?", T-Bar shared a screenshot of a news article linking Fozzy playing at the Sturgis motorcycle rally with little social distancing to 250,000 new cases in the US with his own "huh." T-Bar isn't the only Retribution member to be active on social media, as Mia Yim, now called Reckoning, posted a video from The Purge, saying all crime is now legal. Reckoning added that everyone is on her time now, and we'll have to see just how far the group gets in their plans to tear down the system. More from Raw now, and Liv Morgan has a fan base constantly pulling for her to get a bigger push, and though it was believed she'd be getting a big angle that'd take her to a darker place, she instead was reunited with Ruby Riott. While speaking to Rich Ucchino recently, Morgan discussed the fan theory that she'd be put in a program with Bray Wyatt, describing it as very flattering fan fiction, but said that it was just fan fiction. Morgan added that she was never pushing to be Sister Abigail, despite Wyatt having a blonde doll that we now know is based off Alexa Bliss and not Morgan. And time will tell what happens next for Morgan in the reunited Riott Squad. Now, Ryback has made it clear how he feels about WWE over the years, even calling Vince McMahon a pimp, and in a recent Twitter rant, the former superstar continued this animosity. Replying to fans on social media, Ryback's tweets showed his attitude hasn't softened over the years, and here's just a handful of what he said. "It was always the talent. He, Vince McMahon, just created a platform as a human circus that he modified from his father. The guy is a piece of shit, can't stress this enough, world will be a better place when he passes. This isn't wishing death, but stating an opinion I believe to be true. I simply think if AEW just does the opposite of what WWE has done since Vince Jr. came along, they will take over as number one. Vince's days are numbers and the ship is slowly sinking. I believe in selling for good. It might mean slightly less profits, but it's the best for all. Pussy Paul is not the savior to anything. He will go down with the ship. Changing the business model entirely to create the biggest stars on the planet and profit off that rather than running a business that is trying to make the logo the main star for maximum profits. The fans and all involved will win, and they would actually increase profits." It seems the nickname Pussy Paul is referring to Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, and whilst the big guy has said he's preparing for an in-ring return, don't expect to see him in WWE unless this is the mother of all swerves. Over to NXT next, as October 4th's TakeOver just got a huge match added. On Saturday, the company announced that Kushida will face the Velveteen Dream in what should be a fantastic match if NXT lets them go the distance. Of course, the former North American champion is no stranger to controversy, as he seldom shows up on TV without fan outcry to fire him following claims of misconduct with minors, and we'll have to see whether this trend continues when he faces Kushida at TakeOver. Before TakeOver though, we have tonight's Clash of Champions, and though the show is built on every title being defended, fans shouldn't get too excited. According to Cage Side Seats, it's expected that at least one title will change hands tonight, but it'd be surprising if there's any more than 2 new champions crowned. It's been speculated for a while that Drew McIntyre and the Street Profits will lose their titles tonight, as they're the 2 longest men's title reigns at the moment, and many believe they've gotten stale, and we'll have to see who leaves Clash of Champions a title belt lighter. We're looking back to 2009 now, which is when Victoria left WWE, and after a successful run in Impact and a retirement, she's ready to come home, but under certain conditions. When Fightful spoke to the former women's champion, she said that she retired on the spot in September because her body was feeling rough, but added that she would return for a one-off match in WWE or Impact as long as she can, quote, get. She also said she's open to being an agent in WWE, but added that she'd need to get herself back in ring shape to do it justice. As one of few women to be a WWE Women's Champion and Impact Knockouts Champion, Victoria has decades of experience she could bring to being an agent. And whilst WWE recently let go of names like Mike Rotunda and Gerald Briscoe, getting the former champion on board could be a wise investment, especially with AEW at their heels. And we're ending today with another former women's champion, as Jazz had a lot to say about the WWE and Steve Austin. Speaking to Hannibal TV, the former women's champion spoke about her interactions with the Rattlesnake and his now ex-wife, saying, "He still would say hi, but would kinda just be in his own world, always with the top guys in their corner, laughing and bullshitting. He was cool, and Deborah and I still chit-chat with her every now and then just to say hello. If we see each other out at a signing or something, we always try to have a drink or something together. There's nothing but love with Deborah. But Stone Cold? I heard he was a racist prick, so I ain't got too much to say to him." This isn't the first time Austin has faced claims like this, as Ahmed Johnson has said after he became the first Black Intercontinental Champion at King of the Ring 1996, someone he believes to be Austin wrote a racist slur on his car. Austin has denied this claim by Johnson, and recently made headlines when he distanced himself from imagery with racist connotations, and at this time hasn't responded to Jazz's comments.